Remains such as tools, pottery and jewelry, as well as stone walls, the cultural heritage of a people, and monuments of the past human life and activities are the primary functions of an archaeologist. In the archives, you'll find information on everything from artifacts and architectural details to biofacts and ecological details to historical locations and cultural landscapes. Anthropology and the humanities are both branches of archaeology. In addition, they are involved in historical research through surveys, excavations, and the analysis of data. Depending on where you are, archaeology may be seen as a standalone field or even as a subfield of anthropology in North America. Archaeology is defined as the study of antiquity. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, where you can only get effective and current updates on trending facts and knowledge. In today's video, we'll take a look at the Great Pyramid, the greatest archaeological mystery of all time. Have you ever heard of the Pyramid of Giza? Do you know where exactly it is? What makes this pyramid so remarkable? Is there a reason it's the best ever? These questions and many more are answered in today's video. Follow us all the way to the end because we're about to reveal the mysteries and findings of this enormous pyramid. The Pyramid of Giza. Ancient explorers and conquerors were awed by Egypt's pyramids, and tourists, mathematicians and archaeologists alike are still mesmerized by them. As early Egyptian kings, tombs, mastabas and bench-shaped mounds known as tombs. Imhotep, the architect of King Djoser, built the first pyramid in 2780 BCE by stacking 6 mastabas, each smaller than the one below, to form a pyramid rising in steps. The Saqqara Step Pyramid is located near Memphis, Egypt, on the Nile River's western bank. The king's burial chamber, like those in later pyramids, contains numerous rooms and passages. During the reign of King Snefru, founder of the 4th dynasty, 2680 to 2560 BCE, the transition from the step pyramid to a true, smooth-sided pyramid took place. It was necessary to build a step pyramid at medium, then fill it with stone and cover it with a limestone cap. A pyramid with smooth edges and sides has begun construction nearby at Bashur. The bent pyramid gets its name from the less steep rise in the sides of the structure as it nears the top, where the incline drops from over 51 degrees to about 43 degrees. The building's stability was probably improved by changing the angle of the roof during construction. This pyramid was built at Dasha, with its sides rising at an angle of approximately 43 degrees, resulting in a true but squat pyramid. At Giza, the largest and most famous pyramid was built by Snefru's oldest son, Khufu, also known as Cheops in Greek form. More than 13 acres of land were needed to build the pyramid's base, and its sides rose at an angle of 51 degrees 52 minutes and weighed more than 755 feet. It was originally 481 feet tall, but it now stands at 450 feet. The heaviest blocks, some weighing as much as 15 tons each, are estimated by scientists to weigh an average of over 2 tons each. King Khefer, Chephren, Khufu's son, and King Menkaure, Khafre's successor, each had their own pyramids constructed at Giza. The Sphinx, a massive statue of a lion with a human head, was carved during the reign of Khafre. The pyramids were part of a complex that also included temples, chapels, other tombs, and massive walls, all of which were constructed in conjunction with the pyramids themselves. The best preserved remains of funerary boats have been unearthed at Giza. The pyramid text, inscriptions found on the walls of 5th and 6th dynasty pyramids, are a significant source of information about Egyptian religion. However, because of the lack of ancient records, it is difficult to know exactly what each building in the pyramid complex was used for or how the deceased were buried. After being transported upriver by boat, the king's body was likely mummified in the Valley Temple before being interred in the pyramid. There have been a lot of talk about building a pyramid. Cutting the relatively soft stone might have been made easier by Egyptian copper-tipped tools like chisels and drills. For the walls of the burial chambers and some of the exterior casing, the use of hard granite would have been presented a more challenging problem. Drills and saws may have been used in conjunction with an abrasive powder such as sand. For the pyramids to be aligned with the cardinal points, an understanding of astronomy was required, and water-filled trenches were used, likely to level the perimeter. This method of moving massive stone blocks over wet ground is depicted in an ancient tomb painting of an enormous statue being moved. Finally, the blocks were lowered into the pyramid via ramps. As the project came to an end, the ramps were removed and the outer layer of the casing stones was completed. The Giza Plateau itself was used to quarry the majority of the stone used to build the Giza pyramids. Some of the limestone and granite used in the construction of the walls came from Tura, Egypt, while others from Aswan, Egypt. The names of the work gangs, such as Craftsman Gang, can be found on several of the stone blocks. The year-round masons and other skilled workers were probably supplemented by part-time crews of laborers. Greek historian Herodotus claimed that 100,000 Egyptians worked for 3 months a year for 20 years to build the Great Pyramid, but modern estimates of the number of laborers are much lower than Herodotus's. From the 4th to the 6th dynasties, pyramid building was at its peak. For more than 1,000 years, smaller pyramids were built. Although many have been found, it's likely that there are more under the sand. King Tutankhamun was buried in rock-cut tombs because the pyramids couldn't protect the mummified bodies of the pharaohs from grave robbers who saw them as easy pickings. Pyramids may not have protected Egyptian kings' bodies, but they have preserved their names and stories for the benefit of future historians. I believe we've been able to open your minds to some unique facts about this Great Pyramid. Are we done? No, this is just the beginning. Here are mysteries and facts that still make the pyramid unique up to date. Number 1. Slaves weren't hired to build them. It's possible that the long-held belief that slaves built the pyramids isn't true after all. Through his writings, Herodotus spread the belief that Egyptian slaves were responsible for erecting the pyramids of Giza. Despite Hollywood's efforts to popularize the idea, it's possible that it's not true. The tombs of pyramid builders were discovered in the 1990s. Egyptologists are confident that these people were not slaves, but rather low-income builders. The fact that they were buried in a tomb demonstrates that their role in the construction of the pyramids was considered an honor as opposed to the treatment that slaves would have received. Number 2, how they were built is still an unknown thing to us. The method used by Egyptians to build the pyramids remain a mystery to this day. Even more remarkable is that the Egyptians used over 200 million limestone and granite blocks in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The average weight of masonry block was 2.5 tons or 2.3 metric tons. So how did they get all of those massive blocks out of the way? As a result of the Egyptians' inability to leave written records, numerous hypotheses have been advanced over the years. It could be as simple as water and sand, according to a 2014 study. At the front of an ancient wall painting, one person depicted pouring water over sandy ground as the rest of the men pull a large statue. It was initially thought that the gesture was only ceremonial, but scientific evidence shows that this painting holds the key to unlocking the mystery of how they shifted so much weight. It was discovered that adding just the right amount of water made it easier to pull heavy loads across the sand on a sled. In order to move large amounts of weight, the dampness of the sand reduced friction by as much as 50%, making it much more feasible. Number 3, a few of them were pointed. All pyramids aren't the same, and it's important to remember that. There are distinct phases in the construction of a pyramid, as there are in the construction of many different types of buildings. Aside from their pointed appearance, pyramids were actually flat surfaces from their earliest form. Ancient Egypt's capital, Memphis, is home to the vast Saqqara burial ground, where many examples can be found. The Giza Pyramid is one of the earliest examples of a pyramid in this area. Designed by architect Imhotep, it was built between 2630 and 2611 BCE during the 3rd dynasty. In fact, it's one of the most ancient masonry monuments in the world, and it isn't pointed at all. Imhotep had mastabas, or Egyptian tombs, of a decreasing size stacked on top of each other in a step pyramid. The Borobudur Temple in Indonesia and the El Castillo Pyramid in Chichen Itza, built by the Maya, are both examples of this typology. Number 4. To the west of the Nile, there were most pyramids. Symbolism and superstition played an important role in ancient Egyptian decision-making. Even the location of the ancient pyramids was guided by mythology, so it should come as no surprise to anyone. On the west bank of the Nile, most were built, and for a specific purpose. Considering that the pyramids were the final resting places of pharaohs, it only makes sense that their souls should begin their journey into the afterlife there. The afterlife and the sun were intertwined for the ancient Egyptians. Osiris, an Egyptian god associated with the afterlife, stood for the power of rebirth. As time passed, he came to be associated with the sun's cycle and the rebirth of seeds that had lain dormant. As a result of this, the setting sun came to be associated with death, and as a result, the sun died each night in the west. They were meant to be connected to the setting sun, which symbolized eternal life before the sun rose again in the morning. Because they built pyramids in the west side of the Nile, the Egyptians lived in an area that symbolized death. Number 5. Astronomy was used by Egyptians to direct construction. The stars, according to the British Egyptologist, guided the alignment of the pyramids. The Big Dipper and Little Dipper were used to align the pyramids in a north-south direction by Kate Spence of Cambridge University in 2000. Their measurements were so precise that they only had a 0.05 degree error margin. With this information, it's possible to date the pyramids according to astronomical records, which is interesting. Number 6. The Major Pyramid is able to teach time. Among Egypt's pyramids, the Great Pyramid of Giza is not only the most well-known, but the lone survivor of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The fact that the Great Pyramid can tell time is one of the most intriguing features of this well-known structure. The structure serves as a giant sundial, as the shadow it casts on the stone dials in the time. Of course, it couldn't just be any old sundial because it was Great Pyramid. In addition to telling the time, it was able to indicate solstices and equinoxes, which is useful in helping the Egyptians establish a calendar based on the solar year. Number 7. To this day, archaeologists are still puzzled by the mysteries of the pyramids. Excavation and technology are still used to solve many of Egyptology's unsolved mysteries, despite researchers moving away from reading inscriptions. A 4,500-year-old ramp discovered north of Luxor is shedding light on how the ancient Egyptians may have transported large amounts of masonry. To further demonstrate how much more there is to learn about ancient Egypt, a tomb near the Saqqara burial site has revealed hundreds of wooden cat statues and mummies. All these are mind-blowing, right? Are they really true or easy to believe? Let us have your opinion on this subject. Kindly make use of the comment section and let us hear from you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we're sure you would like to watch more related concepts from our channel. So stay tuned for more videos and don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to our channel. Big thanks to you. We love you.